Hello everyone, this is part number 12 of our Trozan Sky Shard playthrough. At the moment we're doing well. We did a little bit of farming before this episode basically. I hit Solar Guardian for a better pants at normal because he's gonna scale pretty high at normal and it's much safer to farm him in normal at this point. We did some Mogara runs. I need upgrade on my relic. Pants that we managed to find is Mighty of the Fox. I'm gonna sell that, it's a pretty low roll on the Ether resistance. Vigorous as Insight, it's another very good roll, comes with Ether Chaos resistance, but again pretty low roll. I'm gonna keep it because Insight is a very rare suffix. Warding of Scorched Ants is another good find. It's gonna fix my chaos problems. And this one is Insulating of Attack, basically a sell. I did Mogara runs as well, normal. She scales just to get Manticore's Eye to improve my relic to Iskandra balance instead of Hound. Because Hound it's needed, so it's gonna be a much easier upgrade. I managed to find Empowered Astral Mantle, which is actually a very good find. Contains Ether and Chaos resistance, everything that I need. And it's a pretty common drop. It's not that hard to find this. I'm gonna keep this as well. Have a nice proc. Apart from that, we have to do some changes. I have to craft myself a Sanctified Bone. So I'm gonna open my chest slot for that. And I'm gonna place this scale that I remove basically on the shoulders. So I get a little bit more armor. Absorption. I farm Tomb of Korvark at normal, still scales pretty well for Seals of Bindings. This is very nice gloves as well. I'm gonna keep it, they have a pierce resistance if I struggle with that. It's very good to keep some items for swaps. I'm not gonna keep that in shared stash, I'm gonna keep it here. I'm gonna change my pants right now as well. I'm gonna keep this one, gonna keep the gloves. Gonna keep that one as well. And chill main. I'm gonna just open some space. This is gonna be in the next 5 levels as well. And in the shared stash I'm gonna place everything else. This is a good hardcore habit, as I explained in all around the series. You can see in my previous series I died, but I saved a lot of my wealth before I did that. So every potion, rare component, keys, seals of bindings. That runestone is a pretty rare material because it's craftable. Wendigo spirits definitely goes there as well. Scraps, you're gonna find tons of it. Dynamites, you need them at your inventory, but you always can use control key. Basically control, left click, and you can spread the stack and you can leave for your next character 5 dynamites for example to start with. You can do that with everything. For example, I don't need so much scrap. I can left some for the next character if I play this way. And everything else I think I have to sell. Apart from the Elena necklace, I'm gonna use that. We don't need that lower version of the slit primal ring. Honestly, we need a component, so I'm gonna keep these pants actually. I don't need threats of mortality. I think I have enough sustain at the moment. There is nothing wrong to stop for a half an hour or so, farming a little bit, especially my pants were pretty outdated. So I farm a better version. I craft for myself better belt at the last episode. My medal is definitely for change. And my amulet as well. But so far I am okay. The only thing left to do is craft myself a sanctified bone. This is gonna bring me pretty close to solve all my incoming chaos resistance problems. It's a pretty expensive craft, but totally worth it. I'm gonna face undead and chthonic soon, so this bonus damage is gonna help me a lot, especially on a cold build. Usually sanctified bone is a must-have in almost every single playthrough. It's just too good. And it's time to move forward. When all of our resistance fixed, it's not so hard. I forgot to cast my spirits. There is a one-shot chest here. Stone Fist Rebuke. It's best in slot if you level Force Wave. Physical Force Wave. This one is only replaceable by a very good Obsidian Cleaver, but have to be triple rare to replace this. It's just too good. Be careful with the shamblers. They can hurt. Let's save Steven Skinner's family. Let's be the good guy, at least for once. The only reason to kill him is if you play some sort of fire build and you need a fire weapon. He drops just for once basically a torch that counts as a mace. I don't need this devotion, so I'm gonna skip it. Stick to the objective. It's gonna slows me down. My MI is totally okay. I don't need to kill this guy for more. Later on, when I catch up some levels, I'm gonna, of course, come back here. And I'm gonna take the devotion and everything. But now it's gonna be just waste of time. Planning your playthrough is kinda half of the game. How you're gonna progress and stuff. For example, I don't have to go deal with Balthazar. He is a human, so pretty small hitbox. I'm gonna have a hard time kill him basically. and he's very good at dealing tons of damage. But I want the Elder's Quest. Balthazar is not related to any quest, you just at the first, when you arrive at normal, you need the dynamite basically that he guards. This is one of the quests that you have to trigger it, one of the few, which I didn't, so I have to do a walk of shame a little bit. And this is another quest that you can finish basically without any problems. He's gonna give you the relic. This time I'm gonna give it to the rovers for a better reputation. Also, I forgot to craft some stuff. I'm gonna do it now. So things that we need is two vengeful rites, one amber, and one enchanted flint for the next devotions, and one silver as well for the devotion at Broken Hills. This is devotions that we're gonna be on the way anyways, so it's good to have the right components for them. It's a free experience. Usually I don't mess with the devotions that's out of my way when I finish my devotion path, which I did last episode. So the only things that devotion provides for me is loot and experience. This is a regenerator. Always focus regenerator first. Otherwise gonna make your life so miserable. Especially on a not so burst type of builds, like consistent damage builds. This one is a burst damage build. I dish out tons of damage with a single cast. Here I'm gonna explain again. This quest, best outcome is just to bribe him. You're gonna immediately return all of the money. So he wants just 1500 and he's gonna give you 3 scraps and tons of experience. We gain level, so I think I'm gonna grab sustain. I'm gonna max out this. That's gonna reduce poison and bleeding duration. Gonna give me life as well. And I'm gonna stack damage from my attributes.
Keep your weapon.
Let's see if we have enough royal jelly. We don't. That quest gonna stick for a while, but it is what it is. This guy over here, you don't want to get hit by him. Just avoid. He is very slow, but he can deal extremely amount of damage in a combination. especially with a brutal weapon. This one is okay, not so huge multipliers, sorry. Bosses at the pits, they are naturally hardcore killers. Stay away from them, especially if you don't have max stun resistant. I have just 55, this is not enough to tackle with them, so I'm gonna just ignore them. They can pretty easily stun locks you, and you're gonna lose the character. These bosses at ultimate, they are definitely endgame bosses. There is a build that can deal with them during the campaign, but still is a very risky business. When you optimize your character, you can come back. They provide just reputation and some sort of MIs. We got Madman Woolcox this time. I'm gonna nullify his barrier. He uses blade barrier like Nightblade Mastery. There's gonna be one guaranteed hero more at this area over here. Either Paral or his friend. This time is... Which one is this time? This time is Boomer. I'm gonna nullify his auras. If you see the hero glowing in something, it's definitely either offensive or defensive aura. So be sure you remove it. It's gonna make your life easier. Another hero. This is person that invent the black cocktail. He was part of the army, but he was basically arsonist. He loves to blowing stuff and buildings and stuff, so they basically get rid of him and he becomes criminal. We take some damage. Our resistance is cap, probably is my armor, which is not so bad usually. And you can see Sanctified Bone helps me deal with undeads much easier. This 8% damage on top is very nice. We deal. And here is Moneybox. I'm gonna nullify him. He deals mostly fire damage. I don't want to get burst. He uses Granado and Blackwater cocktails. There is a guaranteed dynamite over here. And this is Roman. Be careful, he is a Nightblade. He can dish tons of damage. This guy over here is the Black Eye. And this guy is Swift. We got our infamy level increased. That's what we got immediately spawn a few heroes. This totem is a normal totem. Nothing scary. Just few captains and few beholders. Manhirian, this is a very good defensive ring. Of course not for our build, but if you play tank class, especially sword and board, it's gonna help you a lot. Comes with physical multipliers, physique, life. That's an interesting helm of Maven Suite. It's gonna be more but I can't give up on this nice offensive and defensive ability. Flash Rob Cax, basically my cask stacks scales with me because this is a percentage. Let's kill this guy. I'm gonna get rid of his bubble, so he's gonna be vulnerable, and I'm just not gonna stay on the pulse. Gonna reposition. Usually a pretty easy straightforward fight. Nothing special. There is a one-shot chest. I have enough clusters, so I'm gonna pick the materials at the first option. He gives me one ratstone, which is good find. Dire Wolf Crest, this is a piercing bleed medal. Definitely not for us. Here, undead's usually not my best enemy. Thanks to the Sanctified Bone I can deal some damage, but I think I'm gonna completely skip Caldero's questline. Usually it's not worth it. There is nothing that I need from Old Arkovia. I just need to get to Broken Hills. I'm gonna do this devotion over here, but probably that's gonna be everything that I'm gonna focus here. It's just not worth it. If you're not some very good cold build, it's gonna be very slow to deal with all these revenants. You can see I need few casts to get rid of them, which I dislike. Just everything here is pretty resistant. I'm gonna skip Calderos. There is a much better farming spots. There is no other quest anyways. And definitely I don't want to fight Kyrian. Also these crossbow bowmans, they hurt. On top of that, my TC resistance is not very good. As you can see how much time it took me to kill Basically 5 heroes. Just cold builds, not very good at undead killing, especially casters. But that's okay, because apart from here, and not exactly undeads, more like skeletons. So apart from Steps of Torment and Old Tarkovia, there is no much skeletons at the campaign. And the best part, this area is completely optional. You just need to reach Broken Hills, it's not main quest related. If I refuse to do Caldera's quest, I'm not gonna lose anything. Apart from some reputation to the rovers, thanks to the undead killing. But later on I'm gonna do undead totem farming anyway, when I optimize my gear. So I'm gonna hit revert with them in no time. I can kill this guy, usually I'm already here anyways. Be sure you get rid of the healers. There's gonna be constantly healers all around him. He's not very scary. There is a treasure. Not the best chest in the world, but still free money, and I am kinda broke. I am in front of another crafting session soon, so I have to catch up a little bit. Especially I have to farm more Manticore's Eyes to craft my relic of choice. Minova quest. These birds, they're corrupted, so stay away from them. Primal Instinct, this is a shaman. Transcendent relic. I think I never use Primal Instinct ever. I'm not sure if ever is that good. As you can see, that pull triggers few of my defensives, which is not cool. I'm stick to the objectives. I want to reach basically Deathman's Gulch. I'm gonna nullify her, she deals lightning damage, that's gonna help me sustain better. Even if there is nothing to nullify, nullification plays a debuff. For the moment is 19% reduced elemental damage, but the duration is pretty high. It's up to 16 seconds, which in Grim Dawn is a lot, believe it or not. Okay, time to max this out, and I think this is the last form of sustain that we can acquire. So now, from now on, I don't have any other choice, I have to work on damage. We have still two utility skills, Nullification and Mirror. But I think for now I have a pretty good cooldown on the Nullification. You want soft cap this in hardcore, and you want few points at Mirror as well for a shorter cooldown. But overcap these skills, it's not optimal. In Grim Dawn there is always diminishing returns, and you have to pay attention to that. some skills, especially passives, auras, exclusive, they don't worth to be maxed out. I'm gonna try to give an example. For example, this is gonna stop scale like this, and it's gonna give you just 1.1% per spirit, which is basically wasting some points. Some people overmax it, is personal choice. Usually Druid is a pretty point starving build. Here, for example, this now you receive 2% damage shred, resistance shred, sorry, per level. But at 12, you're gonna start basically point number 13 is gonna be just 1% off, which is basically a personal decision again. But a lot of skills, they don't work. You can leave it at soft capped and you can gonna be okay. Also, there is a skills that are fine just with 5 points, 3 points, depends on the diminishing returns. Especially now, there is a few changes to the Druid class. Arcane Will got buffed, so I plan to test it and play around it to see how it goes. So probably I'm gonna cut some skills just to check if that skill is worth maxing out or is still is just a one pointer. Here is the first tricky fight. If this guy got you, you're a dead man. He is very slow, just piloting well. If you constantly move, no chance. But he's got me. You can see his stun basically tax me 50% of my life bar, and if he lands next attack, that's gonna be a gray screen for me, and I have to end up the series here. And let's check his weapon. This is a insanely good roll. This is Barbaric of Alacrity. This hits like a truck. Comes with a lot of flat physical damage, like 89. You're gonna say to yourself, okay, but 89 is not that much. It is, because goes directly to the weapon and got multiplied by everything. So that's a lot. Especially this part of the game, flat damage is much more dangerous than the percentage. So we reach Deadsman's Gulch. We didn't teleport him from the marsh, so dialogue options different. He didn't basically recognize you because he never met you before, because I forgot to teleport him. But this happens sometimes. Nothing special here. This guy is usually very easy for this build. The only thing that I have to do is take the devotion and find Ticrix, because he's gonna point me where is Dahlia's corpse, and I already saw where he is. Fate Weaver Mantle, this is actually the same that I have before. So nice tip and trick for this boss. If you don't click the corpse and basically don't finish this quest, you can have it as a quest marker all the time. And basically if you need to farm this medal, because Icrix drop MI medal for a retaliation builds, just kill him and don't click the corpse, because this is several spawn locations, sometimes pretty rough to find him. He is very small as well, it's very easy to miss him. Just don't click the corpse. I don't need the medal, so I'm gonna finish this quest. But if you leave the corpse alone, you're gonna farm him pretty safely. It's gonna show up on your minimap all the time. We are on the way to reach Homestead, which is where the real game begins. A little bit of kills for a reputation. We stick with Dead's Vigil, so we got reputation for material skills. Still no upgrade to my cask. I hope this captain's gonna drop me something. Or at least the boss over here. There is a few extra spawns. There is a retaliation mob. Here is the mini boss. I'm gonna pop mirror just to mitigate a little bit of damage. Again, not very luck on my side, but I get some potential upgrade for the chest. Actually, I don't. This physique requirements too brutal. I'm gonna focus on light gear. I'm gonna stick to the caster cloth gear instead of this, which means I can't wear the cask anymore if I found the upgrade. I have to switch over probably to this one, which is honestly not that bad. I'm gonna lock some pierce resistance, which is fixable. I'm gonna decide that later. Let's bring back some quests and I'm gonna end of the episode. First we have to teleport Wulgrim. After that Salt Arkovia.
So how doomed
But first spoke with this guy, so you don't have to spoke with him at Homestead. Next is Salt Arkovia. That's on level. This is Mock Drogan quest, I'm gonna do it later. I don't want to deal with this right now. It's a waste of time. It's a endgame quest line anyways. And this is again, we have to start working on damage. So definitely I'm gonna soft cap inner focus for better offensive and spirit. Gonna cap my spirit. Broken Heals is the next stop for a 2 attribute points. And actually I'm gonna change my mind. I can use up to 700 physique. Better life pool. During the campaign I don't need so much damage, so I'm gonna focus a little bit on a life pool through the stats.
well, now that we're
Gonna speak with Barnabas, and what's left is basically raw jelly quest and stuff. Build's doing very good so far. I'm gonna sell some stuff. See how's gonna be my money. I'm gonna keep this helm. The potential upgrade. I'm gonna keep this husk as well. I'm probably close to 70. I'm gonna be able to, but this is the wrong one. I have to keep the other one with the life. Still an upgrade, not amazing. Probably I'm gonna find something better. I am on the way to fight this guy for the rest of the campaign. But for now, this is everything from this episode. Thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next one.